action.
All right, we're going to talk about patient lifts. They come in different sizes and colors, but the main idea is has a hydraulic pump that pushes this arm up and is going to lift this patient up. This is used in facilities a lot, or someone that's the caregiver's weak and they can't lift this person up to get them out of the bed or moved into a wheelchair or that kind of thing. The hydraulics is worked by a manual pump here. They do come in an electric version that you can just push a button and this will move up and down. But ours are all manual, so this pump just will take this up and down, or up rather. Down is this little lever you twist, and that will release the pressure and allow this to come down. Now when you have a patient in this, they will drop really quickly if you open this up all the way. They'll drop quick. So when you open this, open it slowly so they come down nice and smooth and gentle. You don't want to just drop them right onto the bed or the chair they're getting into. So this will go down, and when you're in the vans and so forth, you'll want this down just about as far as it'll go, so for transport, it'll make it easier. As you can imagine, this thing, as it gets higher, the higher you get somebody in this with weight, it's going to get tippy. And so when you're moving this has a feature that you can take this handle and spin this handle out. I don't know, can you see the feet on there? These feet splay out wider. So that gives you more stability if you're moving around in the home. If you're going through a doorway, however, you're going to have to bring it back down to the narrow part and then bring it wider again when you can. So if they do have to keep it narrow, they got to move really, really slow and gentle on this, because if they start swinging them, this is going to tip over pretty easy. It's like a forklift. You don't want to carry your load heavy, a high, heavy load. You want to keep it down low as you can. So don't lift them any more than you have to. So we have Shauna here as our model, and we're going to show you how this is going to lift up a patient. There comes a couple of slings. There's different slings that we have. This is going to be the most common. This is a full body sling. Shauna nicely embroidered that for us, by the way. Good job. These slings, this is a full body. This one's got a commode or peri cut out, they're called. Allows them to put someone right onto a toilet or a commode, and they could keep them in the sling. So this also has handles on the back, so you can grab a hold of it and pull them around when they're in the sling itself. So we do not do patient care. We've talked about that several times. So this is something you will not be doing by yourself. You will not be putting a sling under someone. Sorry, Shauna, did I get you?
No.
But I'll show you what a nurse will do, and then you can, if they're asking your help, then you can do this. What they'll do is they'll have the person roll to one side, and then you take this sling, and you're going to stuff as much of that up against the side of them as you can, and then you're going to bring them over, come to the other side, and roll to the other side, and pull. You're doing great, Sean. You're doing great. Okay. And then you roll back this way.
Okay.
Now they're on the sling, positioned to about where they need to be. Then you might have to pull this a little bit to get it in the position where you need it under them. Now the idea here is we want to try to grasp as deep as we can on this, so we don't have to lift any more than we have to. And it keeps it quicker and a little safer. So we're going to pump this up. And this will go right underneath the hospital bed. Let me get you there. Okay.
Unless they got tons of crap under
Unless
it,
they
and
got
the
a
bed's
ton
all
of-
the way down.
Yeah, if you need to, raise the bed up. But the problem with raising the bed up is then you got to lift them higher, and you may exceed the height of the range of this. So this is going to come up over. I'm going to try to hit the purple on this side. There's different colors for that very reason. And I'm going to try to do purple on this side as well. So if we're doing purple on one side, we want to do it to keep them straight in this and level. So we're going to do purple on both. Now there's been times where I've had, if they're the way they're positioned or how their body's shaped, you may have to lift them up a little bit to get that engaged into a
You
deeper.
want to rehook this purple one
Did it come
on
off?
the top,
Oh yeah.
up onto the...
So that'll now lift her up straight. So we're going to lock the hydraulics and we're going to start to pump this up. It's kind of like the old,
Pump you up.
kind of like the old SNL. Shauna, you're doing great. And this is going to pick her up. These are not the most comfortable or dignified things in the world.
No, your butt's hanging out the back.
No.
Thank
We
you for
won't.
the good angle on
Yeah.
that, though.
So as
Well,
you
I
can
could come
s-
around the other side.
As you can now, we've got her completely up off the bed, and we can bring her now over here. This is where this handle underneath comes in handy. You can grab and pull.
No,
And
now you
direct
get
it.
the angle I'm not looking
Oh, wait, no.
No.
Wait, there you go.
Now we'll widen this out now because we need the stability when she's up high like this. Now we also have a version of this that's got a scale that's in between here. You'll do the same thing, but you'll just zero out the scale, then lift them, get the weight, and then put them right back down. So we're going to take her and we're going to put her right back into the bed. Bring her across. Get her where you want to be. And you can imagine for a little lady or a little guy, this is going to be kind of a scary deal because they don't have control. Are you a little nervous?
A little bit.
So you got to move slowly and gently with these people. So when I let her down,
Oh, my
again,
head hit my back.
just do really slow on that release. There you go.
That's why Travis
And
is
then
the pro.
we're going to let that down close to the torso so it's easier to get this off, and then just take off. Now there's different types of slings that you'll run across, but they'll all work on the same basis there. So, Shauna, good job.
Okay.
All right, so that's a patient lift. So things to watch for on these. Move them slowly and gently. Careful when you're releasing this because they'll drop really fast with weight in it. And crank them up nice and slow as well, nice and easy. If you're getting these into a home or loading them into your truck, just an idea, if you're putting them in the back of your van, you can tip this thing up and get that up on the top ledge of your van and then lift the rest of it in. A lot easier to do. If you don't have a ramp or if you're really quick, you can throw these in. The other thing is when you're loading these into a van and strapping them down, imagine this bed were kitted, you can bring, if there's a kit right here, you can bring this in and bring it into the bed like this and strap that and save yourself some space with the legs going under the bed rather than hanging out in the middle of your truck and taking up a lot of space. These are really cumbersome. We don't carry them in our vans because they're so big and bulky, but we do have them in the storage units with these slings and so forth. But they're meant just to help people if they've got a heavy person or they're really weak, they can't move them. So you'll hear these called Hoyer lifts. Hoyer was the first company that made them, so it's kind of like Kleenex. It's all facial tissue, but everybody calls it Kleenex. So this was made by Invacare. Everybody makes one of these. They're all called a Hoyer lift because that was the first ones that made them, and that's where that name comes from. So if somebody says, I need a Hoyer lift, it's the same thing as a patient lift. Just know that that's what they're talking about. And that's it.